Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, this is going to be much more different than what you guys are used to seeing on this channel. I decided to do a story time about one of the most traumatic incidents that has ever occurred in my life. I enjoy watching story times on YouTube, and so I figured I'd share this with you guys. And this can be a learning experience to a lot of you guys out there that when something doesn't feel right, it's more than likely not okay. And it's also going to teach you guys to be very observant and watch your surroundings at all times. So without any further ado, I'm just going to get into the story and tell you guys about how my niece and I almost got taken by some man that we do not know at all a few summers ago. So keep on watching. This incident occurred in the summer of 2018. It is now 2021. So this did happen 3 years ago. I believe I was 21 at the time, and my niece was about 12 or 13 at the time. Some of you guys that know me personally know that I work for a preschool. It's a nonprofit organization, and our preschool does have 2 locations. One of our locations is for the preschool, and then the other location that we have is for our extracurricular and youth recreation. It's like a recreation building. These 2 locations are literally around the corner from one another. Like a 2-minute walk. I just have to walk up 2 blocks and cross 2 streets and I'm there. So it was the summer of 2018, around July, and I was working as a camp counselor, and my niece was a participant in the summer camp that I worked for. So at the end of the day, I remember that I was walking from one location to the other because my car had been parked in the other location. It's summertime. There's a lot of us working. There's no parking on the block. So I parked near our other site, and what I did was I just walked there in the morning. At the end of the day, I had to walk back to get my car. So my niece and I are crossing the street, and I'm a very observant person. I'm watching in all corners. Even if I'm not making it obvious, I see who's around me. I noticed that there's this man, kind of tall, slim built, and he looked Hispanic. He was wearing like a black wife beater, and he had earphones in. And I'm listening to his conversation. I thought he was on the phone. It seemed to me like he was on the phone, and he kept repeating to himself, "Take me with you and I'll speak Spanish. Take me with you and I'll speak Spanish." I didn't catch on to it at first. I don't know who this man is. I've never seen him a day in my life. I noticed he starts walking a little faster. And he's repeating himself. So I said, why is this man saying the same thing over and over again? That's strange. I grabbed my niece's hand, like, let me cross the street to see if he's gonna cross. Sure enough, I cross the street and he crosses and he goes, "Take me with you and I'll speak Spanish. Take me with you and I'll speak Spanish." And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? I told you I have to cross 2 streets, right? I crossed the 2nd street. This man is behind me now, on my tail. I'm like, something is not right. I just had this gut feeling. I'm like, this is not right. Who is this man? Why is he following me? And why is he repeating that? It wasn't right. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I have my niece. My niece is 12 years old. Like, she's under my care. I got to protect her, watch her, guard her. I'm gripping my niece's hand up at this time. Like, I'm holding her like this. I have my purse in the other hand. She and I walking. I'm clutched up. I remember grabbing my phone and I called my supervisor who was at the location that I was walking to get my car. So I remember calling her and I'm like, "Hey, are you in the building? Because there's this like strange man. He's walking behind me. Like, I need you to come out here." So she's like, oh my God, what happened? Like, she panics. I'm like, "Please just come outside." I'm like, I'm by the steps already. At this point, I was not going to get in my car. I passed right by my car. I'm not going to get in my car. Then he's either going to hop in my car with me or do something to me. So I didn't get in my car. I decided to walk like up the steps. Now the second location that I work for as well has about like 8 to 10 steps that you got to walk up to before you get to the front door. But that door remains locked because that building was not being utilized that summer. But there were individuals working in there at the time. So in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, if she can just hurry up and come out. I get up to the top of the steps thinking that if I go up these steps, he's not going to follow me in the steps because he knows that there's people in this building. Or at least maybe he would be scared to think that somebody would come out. When I get up the steps, he follows me up the steps and pins me in the corner. So now I'm at the platform of this building waiting on my supervisor to just open that door. I'm at the steps. I'm cornered in by this man I don't even know. And he's in my face. And he's telling me, shut up, shut the fuck up. I'm going to take you with me. And I was like, yo, back up. Like, I remember holding my niece and my purse and I'm yelling at him like, back up. It didn't dawn on me to like push him down the steps because the whole time I'm clenched up holding on to my niece. I didn't know what this man wanted. I didn't know who this man was. I'm like, does he want me? Does he want my niece? What is he trying to do? Is he trying to rob me? Because if he wants my purse, he could just take it off my shoulder. I'm at the top of the steps. I'm cornered in, and I literally back against the wall. I'm pinching my knees, and I'm crying at this time. This time I'm crying and I'm yelling. I'm yelling for my supervisor to hurry up and come out. She was way in the back of the building, so it was going to take her some time. And this man has me cornered on the top steps, telling me to shut the fuck up, that he's going to take me with him. I better be quiet, that he's Superman. I start like inching over to the left. I come down the steps. I run across the street into a corner store that is literally right next to where my job is. I run into the corner store, and in my mind, I'm like, this man is not going to run with me in the corner store. He's not going to chase me in there because he knows there's people that are in that store. He's going to get caught. Y'all, this man run in the corner store with me. He runs in after me. I flung the door open. I run to the counter. I'm telling the lady in Spanish, there's this man that's chasing me and my niece. I don't know what he wants. I don't know who he is. Please do something. Call 911. The lady was so shook, she didn't know what to do. The man comes in, and I'm yelling. I'm like, that's him. That's him. He pins me. Y'all know the ice cream bars? Y'all know when y'all go into corner stores, if you're from Philly, you know when you go into a corner store, they have like the that freezer machine, like where they sell ice cream. I'm leaning back. He's like, I'm Superman, come with me. And he's trying to grab my arm. I was like, let me go. I got my niece on this side. I'm like, let me go. Don't touch me. He goes to reach for my niece. My niece moves back, and he literally like grabs her entire breast. Now let me backtrack, right? When I was outside of the location, I remember there was a white pickup truck across the street, and there was a white man. He's smoking a cigarette in front of the pickup truck. Something in my gut tells me that this man was with him, because he sat there and watched the entire thing unfold and did nothing. So I run into the corner store. The man runs into the corner store with me. The lady at the corner store picks up the phone to call 911. I am also calling 911 at the same time. The man runs out of the corner store the minute that we're all on our phones. I'm crying, hysterical. I'm telling the dispatcher, this is my location. This is just what occurred to me. I'm with my 12-year-old niece. I had a man follow me 2 blocks. I had him pin me in a corner twice. He tried to grab me and my niece. And I said, you know, when he went to grab my niece, he grabbed her breast. So this man runs out of the corner store, and he walks up. He runs up. Rather than running back to where the building was that I was going to, he ran up the street. If God wasn't with me this day, I don't know what was. Because when I tell y'all that I was crying, and I'm walking back to where my supervisor is, and I'm like, I'm on the phone with the cops. They coming. Why does a police officer in a patrol car pull right up? He wasn't even on call. No sirens were on, no speeding. He just happened to be in their neighborhood. And I remember waving my hands at him. I'm like, stop. I'm frantically yelling at him to stop. And he just sees me and my niece in the corner crying. And like, we're waving our hands at him, and he pulls right up to me. I noticed that the white man had pulled off as soon as the cops came. I tell the cop, he gets out the car, he's like, what's wrong? I'm yelling everything at him. I'm rambling. I'm like, I don't know. The man is right up there. Why do the man starts walking back down towards where the cops are? Like an idiot. He was running up the street, seeing that the cops came down, and then he walks back. He turns the corner and walks back. You know, I'm pointing. I'm like, this man, he's coming here now. The cops are walking up to him. He tries to run away from the cops, but walk towards where the building that I work in is at. This is the way he's running. The officer's like, yo, put your hands behind your back. Stop running. And he's trying to run off of them. And I'm like, that's him. Like, this is the same man. I described him down to the T. And to this day, I know exactly what that man looks like. He had on red sneakers, blue jean shorts, and a black wife beater. He had earphones in his ears. You know, tall, skinny build. Like, I know what he was wearing. I was able to describe him. It took 2 cops to take him down. When they took him down, they slammed his head against the concrete of the floor. It was horrible. So they're asking me questions. My supervisor, if I'm not mistaken, I think she called my mom, and she was telling my mom, like, I need you to come over here. There's an incident that just happened with Francheska and your granddaughter. I need you to come. My mom and my dad pull up within like 10 minutes of everything happening. They're putting the guy in the back of the paddy wagon, and they drove off with him. Long story short, they drove off with him. I had an officer stay behind, asked me questions, and he said that I had to go with them to the special victims unit. My niece was in shock. I can tell she was in shock because she was kind of quiet. And then remember I told y'all that there was a white guy in a pickup truck? He came rolling by again to see what was going on. So in my mind, I'm like, I think these two were together. I don't know if it was some type of sex trafficking thing. I don't know. I really do not know. I don't know what the motive was. I don't know why. I don't know. I get to the special victims unit and I'm giving them my statement. My niece and I got interviewed separately. We had to tell them exactly what happened from start to finish so they can document it. The detectives spoke to us. I went home that day. I cried a lot. And I was really traumatized. Like, I was so scared to walk around that neighborhood after that. I remember buying mace, carry with my mace everywhere I go now. You're not gonna catch me walking nowhere without mace. Long story short, I get a letter in the mail towards the end of July, and it's a subpoena. I have to go testify in court August 1st of 2018. The night before, I remember not being able to sleep. And, you know, I showed up to court. I didn't want my niece to testify because she was too young at the time. We did follow through with pressing charges. Got there super early in the morning. I remember we had to go downtown. I had to speak to the detective again and the attorneys, the district attorneys, and they kind of walked me through the process of what it was going to be like, you know, what were some potential questions they were going to ask me. My family would be allowed in. They were in the back. I walk up to the stand and I sit there. And it was intimidating because this was my first time ever being like in court testifying or just dealing with anything like this, period. This man walks in shackles in a like orange jumpsuit with his attorney, and he had a big ass black eye. Big ass black eye. Guys go to jail and they find out what your offense is or what you got locked up for. You know, they tend to get on you depending on what it is. I remember I glanced up at him once, kind of looked at him when he walked in, and I was like, yeah, that's him. And I was like fidgeting with my fingers. The judge started talking to me and asking me questions, and then I got cross-examined. He started asking me like, why did you do this and why did you do that? And the whole time I'm like, that was the first thing that came to my mind. The corner store had cameras. Like, there was nothing more to it than what occurred. And I did what I did because I was frantic and I panicked, and that was just my first instinct. Let me run over here. Let me go over here. They said, was I out yelling for help? And I was like, no, I wasn't out yelling for help because my mind was thinking, where do I go next for safety? Where can I go? So the cross-examiner did nothing. It did nothing for me. I leave court. Everything goes well. It was what it was. And then like a week or two later, I get another letter in the mail that states that he pled guilty on all charges and he was being sentenced to X amount of time. I'm assuming that was his first offense because of the little bit of time that he got. Long story short, that's what it was. This happened in 2018. It was a very, very scary situation. Very scary. I didn't know. I can't even remember what was running through my mind other than my niece is with me and I have to make sure nothing happens to her. It goes to show, like, when you guys have an instinct, ladies, specifically ladies, when you guys have an instinct or a gut feeling, trust it. Trust it. Your gut feeling is never going to lie to you. If something doesn't feel right to you, chances are it's not right. I'm big on energy and all of that stuff. And for some reason, me walking and listening to this man repeat the same thing over and over, it was like a signal. I'm like, something ain't right. Let me cross the street. But when he crossed with me the second time, I just knew this man is up to something. So, ladies, always be observant. Watch your surroundings at all times. Try to walk in groups. Never walk alone, especially if it's a neighborhood you don't know, especially if it's nighttime. And just trust your instincts. Be observant. Watch at all times. And keep your guard up. Keep your guard up because we live in a scary world, unfortunately. But that was my story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have another story coming soon that a lot of you guys asked me for. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.